Alright, I'm going to try to make a video here of a couple con sections. So this is solutions of systems of equations. So what they're doing here is just giving you a pair of numbers, and then your job is to tell them if it's a solution. Well, if it's a solution, when you plug in the pair of numbers for x and y, it'll make both equations true. So the first number is x, second number is y. So like in the top one, we see 1, plug in 1 for y. We're going to plug in 1 for x also. So 1 equals 2 times 1 minus 1. Well, that's true. Down here, 5 times 1 is 5, minus 4 times 1 is 4. That equals 1 also. That's true. So then it is a solution because it made them both true. If it made either one of them false, it would not be a solution. Same thing here. They're giving you an x and they're giving you a y. And your job is to plug them in and see if it makes things true or not. So plug in 8 for y here. Negative 5 times x is 3 plus 1. Well, now this tells me 8 equals negative 14. That is not true, so therefore this is not a solution. All right, so that's all you're doing for that one. They're going to do a couple of these in one video. Let's go back to, all right, systems of equations with graphing. This is probably going to be the toughest one for most people, but that's because of the graphing, not because of the like elimination stuff. So to graph these, there's a couple different ways to graph. If you're in this form, this is your slope-intercept form. So the number in front of your x is your slope, so in this case negative 1. And the number chilling over here is your y-intercept, so 2. So if I want to graph this one, I'm going to go to 2. And the slope of negative 1 means I'm going to go down 1 over 1, down 1 over 1, down 1 over 1, and I get this line here. Y equals 3x minus 4 using the same approach. So negative 4 is your y-intercept. So I'm going to put a point at negative 4 on the y-axis. And then our slope is 3. Remember, that's really 3 over 1, though. So from here, I'm going to go up 3 over 1, up 3 over 1. I can keep doing it if I want. Doesn't really matter. But I get these two lines that cross. So I guess there's a couple ways I didn't think about. You don't need to graph this. You could have decided, hey, I'm just going to do the algebra here. Because now that I get to the answer, I'm like, okay, it's a little bit bigger than 1. And it's like somewhere between, so my x value is like 1.5 maybe. And my y value is like 0.5. So this is my answer, because this one's the only one that's close. But it just occurred to me, it's telling you to graph, but it didn't require you to. It didn't like make you. So if you want to go, hey, negative x plus 2 equals 3x minus 4, and just start doing some algebra, throw the x's over on this side, throw your numbers over on this side, you know, that would work too. So whichever way you want to get to that. I want to find one of the other kinds, so I'm going to kind of zoom through this one. There's a kind that makes it a little bit tougher for graphing. This one looks like negative 2, negative 6. Actually, I think it makes it easier for graphing, but some people get, this is the kind I want. All right. So two things. They're just telling you to solve it. So if you want to just solve it with elimination, it's actually set up really well, because these two would add up to be 16x. These two would go away, and then you would end up with 16x equals 32. And you can find x equals 2 from there. So that you could absolutely use a non-graphing method here. If you are going to graph it, the easiest way is to look at the intercepts. So to find the x-intercept, I take the number in front of the x, which is 8, and put it on the bottom over here. So basically 16 divided by 8 is my x-intercept. 16 divided by negative 4 will be my y-intercept. And then the same thing with the bottom one. This number here divided by the number in front of the x gives us our x-intercept. This number here divided by the number in front of the y gives us our y-intercept. And then there we go, those cross at 0, 2. Remember you can, or I'm sorry, 2, 0. Remember you can use kind of what we did in the previous section to check. So if I put a 2 there, and a 0 there. Does 8 times 2 minus 4 times 0 give me 16? It does. And that would work in the other one too. So there's one of those. Let me do one more of those because I think those are probably a little tougher for most people. So you take the number over here, divide it by the number in front of the x, that's 1. That's your x-axis. Take the number over here, divide it by the number in front of this. So 7 divided by -1 is -7. And then the same thing down here. 6 divided by the number in front of the x. So 6 divided by 1 gives me 6. 6 divided by 2 gives me a y value of 3. And then I'm just looking, okay, where do these guys cross? So it's like 1.5, 2 and, okay, 1 1/3, 2 1/3 looks like the one that matches the best.